So it's recording. All right, so I am here at Wizards of the Coast because my life is amazing. Specifically, I am in Ravnica, like not the plane, obviously, but the room, the conference room of Ravnica. And with me here in this amazing adventure is Alison Luhrs.
Hi.
So I get to talk with Alison in Ravnica.
Wow,
Some
the
sweet,
whole thing,
awesome art
it's
there.
all here.
Right, like this is
the entire
Ravnica's
place.
a lot smaller than I expected. And where's
I know.
Jace?
The guilds are kind of disappointing. It's the whiteboard. That's it.
It's
We embellish a lot.
the. Are you saying that the whiteboard represents Jace? Like it's just
I
a
guess.
blank slate.
Well, I figured
It gets filled up every day and then wiped clean at the end.
we can assign different parts of the room, the different guilds, since they're all here. So this is the entire plane. So yeah.
So we were hanging out and we were talking.
Yeah.
And my hand, the video is shaking. For those of you watching, sorry, I'm super excited. But we were talking, and one of the things that I realized is you have been part of the Magic Tumblr since the beginning. Like you were kind of instrumental in it existing in the first place.
Yeah, before I came to Wizards, I've been a fangirl since I was like 6, and so being part of fan communities means growing up with fan communities. So when I was a kid, there were like message boards and like forums and all that stuff, and then people moved on to LiveJournal, and then people moved on to such and such. And Tumblr over the last few years has become like where people who love things go to talk about how much they love things.
Yeah.
And so when I got to Wizards, I was originally hired as a community manager. We had an official Twitter, we had an official Facebook, and that was about it. And so once I got here, I made it one of my goals to start our own Tumblr. Since if we want to talk to fans, we should talk to them on fandom's favorite platform.
Yeah.
So yeah, we started up our very own Tumblr with the goal of talking to people not in a marketing sort of way, but as a fan sort of way.
Right, like as an interaction,
Exactly,
like, hey,
yeah.
we want to hear from you, and you want to hear from us,
Yeah.
and this is a good channel.
If you
and
read our Tumblr, we want you to read it as if you are reading the favorite blog of your favorite fan. Like you are having the fans experience, even though we also like sell you stuff.
Right, right, yeah.
But ideally, like we didn't really want to talk in a marketing way. Like we wanted to make it about like dumb gifts and like really like crappy like conversations. Like not crappy conversations, but like we wanted it to be fun and engaging.
Well, right, something a lot less formal than the, hey, here's the website with our official statements of declarations of pre-disclosures of all.
Yeah, the way that people talk nowadays is really fast and fluid, and we want to be able to keep up with that conversation in a casual way.
And I think that conversation is a really good way to put it, because I mean, you talk about, you know, Tumblr is a good place for people to engage with what they love.
Absolutely.
And Tumblr, specifically the Magic Tumblr, has become very near and dear to my heart.
Mine too.
as I was telling you earlier, you know, it is that rare combination of things coming together where I can geek out in a very specific, niche-y kind of way and still find a community.
Right. So
I mean, you were the person who really, you know, pitched that idea that, hey, this is a space where we should be. So with that in mind, I thought it'd be neat to kind of get some of the history of that on video. And so tell me, I mean, you said how, you know, you kind of pitched that idea. How much pushback did you get originally for it?
Oh man, people didn't understand what.
All right, so now that I've cleared up some storage on my phone, we're ready here for part 2 of Magic Tumblr history. Once again, for those of you just now joining us, we are in Ravnica, the room here at Wizards of the Coast, which is awesome. By the way, I have to show off, I even got like this cool badge when I came here, so cool.
Freelander and everything.
So let's pick up talking about some of your personal highlights, or some of the things that because as, like we said, Tumblr has some really strong characteristics. You know, some strengths to it that just make it the perfect medium for a few things.
Totally.
And I know that on Tumblr we all like, you know, the joke is to complain about how that everybody who's on Tumblr loves to complain about how terrible Tumblr is, but there's some cool things it can do. and I want to hear, because while I don't want to put words in your mouth, I can think of a particular chronicle that was amazing.
Yeah.
But I want to hear about some of your personal, like when you
Yeah.
think of some of the Tumblr highlights.
Yeah, Hanweir Chronicle is absolutely the highlight for me. That is the most ambitious project I have ever worked on, and I still don't understand how we convinced anyone to sign on to this thing. Basically, so I was running the Magic Tumblr at the time, and I wanted to try and do an ARG of some sort. So an ARG is an alternative reality game.
Oh, okay.
So it is kind of like bending the rules of what's real and what's not to tell a story.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to do that through Tumblr, since it's a medium where it's easy to come across something and not know who made it, like to not know where it came from.
Mm-hmm.
And so the initial idea was to tell a story set in Innistrad, showing the influence that Emrakul would eventually have on this one tiny unsuspecting town.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to do that by making a blog that people would just kind of like stumble upon. Like it was just this thing that you would just like kind of naturally find, and you wouldn't really be sure like what's going on. Like what does this all mean? Someone got a package and there's pear inside? Like what is it?
Yeah.
And we wanted to try and tell this story through things that we would send to people that they would then share on the internet. The rest of the global community managers had no idea what Tumblr is and didn't end up using it. But for English, we wanted it to really live on Tumblr. We thought that this was a sort of story and project that people who are peripheral to the Magic experience could look at and go, "Whoa, that's weird. I want to follow that."
Right. Yeah, and that's true. Most of the community engagement, like reaching out to the people to do it, like you mentioned the pairs to Tumblr user Chandra Nalar, which was awesome and
really good
and
pair
priceless.
too, yeah.
But for most of the engagement that was outside of the English language, it was over Twitter and some. All right, so Hanweir Chronicle.
Yes.
Go.
So Hanweir Chronicle was written entirely by me on my mom's couch over Thanksgiving break.
Are you serious?
2 years ago, it was all me.
That's awesome.
And the way that we were able to do it was I went to the creative team and said, "Hey, can we tell a story that has nothing to do with the Gatewatch and is just about the boring people who live on the plane?
Right.
Like, what's the life of like a baker life while you're also mutating into like a horrible monster?"
Yeah.
We wanted to know what that experience was like, and so I worked with James Wyatt. He gave me the blessing, the A-OK. We wrote this whole thing. So the story is told through letters and objects and artifacts and different pieces of Oliver's life. Oliver Hayfield is the lone journalist for all of Hanweir.
Right.
I imagine he just like writes like a single like really, really crummy piece of parchment and posts it on his door every week, and that's the news.
Well, and it's one of those stories where, like, moving forward, you really, have to be paying attention to try and figure out where it's going. And I mean, I love speculating, and I love trying to figure out, hey, what does this mean? What are these clues? Right. And then in hindsight, you look back and you're like, oh.
Yeah. And that was like the point. Like, we wanted to make something for those people who love to like pick things apart and try and figure out the mystery.
And then, of course, the big payoff was that one of the 3 meld cards was
Hanweir, the Writhing Township.
Yeah,
like,
which
the goal was to get to just that image.
Yeah.
Like, what makes that image exciting is that it's disgusting.
Right.
But being able to know the history of this entire town and know what went into making that creature.
Yeah, really.
That's was the real payoff.
Yeah, really gave it some depth. So, so my phone keeps running out of space. So, I want to ask before it runs out of space again. Being the person who is so instrumental in starting the Tumblr, the Magic Tumblr, and being so involved with the Magic Tumblr community, what message would you want to share with all of those Magic bloggers out there on Tumblr?
I'm talking to you, whoever's watching this. Like you specifically. Yes, you right there. You are the best fan we could ask for. You are someone who unabashedly loves something, and that's the most amazing thing on the planet. And the fact that you share what you love with other people is amazing. I wish that every fan was as passionate and driven, intelligent and kind as you guys are. You have made my career by being who you are, and you have made me a better person through the engagements that I watch you guys have and the conversations that you start. Thank you for loving our game, and thank you even more for loving yourself to share your love with the world. So thank you.
Amazing. Thank you
It's true. I
so
love
much,
you
Allison.
guys.
Thank you for kicking this off
Thank you
and for
coming
sharing
to
the history
office
with us.
today. Dave is fantastic.
Oh, hey, it was so awesome getting to actually meet you.
Ah, yay!
All right, I better turn this
Bye,
off before I run out of space. Thank you,
Bye.
Allison.